Good day to all of you in internet land, taking a few moments to listen in to one of your favorite shows. Zack Miller says, of course, hope you guys are doing well. Feel free that if you got questions, hit me up. Maybe I'll answer, maybe I won't, who knows. But, you see me almost every day now with, whether you're listening to the podcast version or the video and audio version, you have me and you see me, and some people might say, maybe this is too much. But hold on, there's going to be a point. And so the other day I was listening to another show and someone said something along the lines of, when I see Zack Miller all the time. And that's crazy because I physically haven't seen this person in a long time, which is great. So I want to tell you why it's important to constantly be pushing very similar material over and 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 over again. Okay? Because it's hard to be noticed in the world, right? Remember, people do not wake up thinking about you, as hard as that is to think, but it's true. And they don't wake up, thinking about you, which sucks, I guess. But, so I'm going to give you a couple examples. So specifically, for about 35 days, I pushed the fact that I got a book deal pretty heavily, right? Probably next week I'll announce when the book is officially coming out. If you pre-ordered the book, you're going to get the book a lot earlier. That's why you were supposed to pre-order it, but have dates. I've had dates for a little while now. I guess I probably should have told people by now, but big news on the horizon. So here's the crazy thing. Even though you might go to the top of a mountain and scream to the top and let people know that you're doing this thing, oftentimes people still don't hear it, don't see it. Last night, my best friend from college, which, by the way, he was watching this show yesterday, and I said something, and it hit home for him when I was like, reach out to the people that, you care about. He called me later that night. Interesting that someone like that, James Parker, I never expected would hit home for, but it did. So it was good to catch up with him regardless. That's why relationships are so freaking important. But best friend from college didn't know that I have a book deal, right? One of the people I used to work with exclusively in TV news, I saw him at the grocery store a few weeks ago. Didn't know, right? I'm throwing all this information out. I'm throwing ads out there. I'm talking about it over and over and over again. People still miss it. That's why it's so important. People that are actually, I would say, decently close to me. I mean, James came to my wedding. Didn't know about it. So, if you want people to see you, and I know it's hard, I know what you're thinking. Well, I posted this thing once, and it was great. You're right. But I guarantee you, only a handful of people saw it. And of that handful of people, only a few of the handful, actually probably did the task that you wanted them to do. In this case, it was pre-order a book, I guess. But all too often, people are not paying attention. And yet, we do one thing once, one advertisement, we do one video, we do one blog post, we do one social media post, and we think that just because we did that one thing one time, that one campaign, that one time, that it's just going to be magical. And here are the facts, people. It's not true. You literally have to do a very similar campaign. When I say campaign, I mean like a blog post. Maybe pushing people towards that blog post, an email, a video, a live cast, a podcast, introduction to someone, calling someone, all of these things over and over and over again. You have to do them all the time because guess what? People don't pay attention. So you have to actually get pretty lucky, I think, to get them to stop, to look up from their 27 screens that they already have, right? Remember when it was only 2 screens? Now it's like 4 screens. I was talking to someone yesterday. She had like 7 screens in front of her. I was like, this is ridiculous. It was awesome, though. But that's what we're competing against, right? We are competing with multiple screens. When I say multiple screens, I mean actual physical life, maybe the laptop, maybe a second monitor, a cell phone, an iPad, maybe something else, a pad of paper, whatever it might be. There's so many things that we're consumed with. But to get someone to stop and look at you and then consume what you're saying, that's a lot, right? And so be thinking about what are the key words that you want people to think about you with, right? The reason why I am basically only saying Anomaly as who I am is because that's what I want people to be focusing on. That or the podcast, basically, right? And my name is associated with those things. And so what is insanely important is that you constantly get in front of people. What you cannot do is just think that, oh, I posted this post on social media and that's going to be enough. Oh, I just talked about it on my podcast and that's going to be enough, right? So I'm realizing that people that I was pretty sure knew about it, now when I'm talking to them about it, they're like, oh, I had no idea. Congratulations. Which, by the way, I think congratulating someone on a book that hasn't really done anything yet is kind of interesting. The congratulations can come when I am a bestseller. What kind of bestseller? As many bestsellers as possible. So, think about it, right? You guys probably know that I wrote a book. Probably know that it's coming out soon, right? Maybe you didn't, right? But how many things are you doing in your day-to-days that you do once and you're like, it didn't work? I bet a lot, right? So how many people know that you own a web development agency? How many people know that you're the greatest realtor in Virginia? How many people know that you have a mentorship podcast, right? These are all 3 examples of 3 people who are probably watching and listening. But are we presenting ourselves, positioning ourselves so that people know that that is what we do? And if you're not, you probably might want to start doing that and creating content around that and doing that content a million freaking times. I said freaking there, by the way. So, if you want people to know what you're doing, sure, post it on social media. Let the world know. But then also, you have to have one-on-one conversations as well. So right now, what am I doing? I'm reaching out to individuals, making sure that they know, hey, by the way, I know you should already know this, but maybe you don't. Zack Miller has a book. It'll be out on this date, and I want to do XYZ with you. I cannot assume that just because I posted something on Facebook, just because I talked about it on my podcast, just because I linked about it on LinkedIn, just because I got 17 likes on Twitter, does not mean that my entire universe knows about it. So that means I have to manually go in and reach out to as many people as possible and introduce and remind them about whatever that thing is that I want them to know about. So yes, when you see me a lot, the reason why is because I want you guys to start thinking about me a lot and start coming back over and over again as someone who can provide advice for you through the things that I'm going through or have gone through, usually around relationships, marketing, positioning, business, etc. How to stand out, right? So, I hope you guys have wonderful weekends. If you want people to know who you are, if you want people to know what you're doing, if you want people to see a specific piece of content that you're doing, don't just post it. One-to-one, manually reach out to the person and provide it to them and let them know that there's something of value in there for them, provided by you, the expert in whatever keyword that you are the best in the world at. Zack Miller is me. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, just say, hey, peace.